Today I'm sitting with new Siena men's basketball coach Gerry McNamara. Coach, I know you've been quite busy the first month. Thank you very much for being with me today and talking. I guess we'll kind of start off with a little bit of a softball question here. You've been in the Capital Region for a month. How has the first month been?
It's been great. From every place we've gone on our recruiting visits, to meeting different store owners, restaurant owners, going through town, everybody I've run into, I think there's a certain buzz and excitement. One of the reasons that this was such an appealing place to be was because of the support of the community and the fan base. And I've felt incredibly welcome since the moment I got here, and it's really just been magnified as I've gone out through the community. Everywhere I've gone, it's been nothing but positive things. I dropped a check off at the bank yesterday. I was getting in the car and someone yelled, "Hey, G-Mac, good luck." So just those things, they make you feel so welcomed here, and it's just been a great transition.
And they obviously know that you're hard at work. I remember day one at the introductory press conference, you made it quite clear you're here to win and you're here to compete right away. Now, as of last year, obviously you weren't here. Siena had a 4-28 record, so it's not one problem to fix, but you've been hard at work right away fixing these problems. Building back the winning success here is obviously your top priority. So where have you started in bringing back this rich history of success that the Saints had?
Well, it's probably the reason that it's taken me so long to do these interviews is because we've been working. Right after the Final Four with the dead period ending that Friday, we did 13 straight days where we had a kid on campus. 9 student athletes over that stretch. So we've gotten right to work, because that's the mindset. It's easy to talk it and say it. Anybody can go and try to win a press conference and say things, but you've got to put that practice to work, and that's what we did. We hit the ground running. I've got great assistant coaches that were grinding it out. Many times there's 3 of us staying in 2-bedroom apartments, sleeping on air mattresses and figuring this thing out as we go and creating the vision that we want. The idea is to hang more banners in this gym. That's the idea. That's why I'm here. And the focus immediately became roster. When I got the job, I had certain conversations with guys that were here, but roster management was the most important thing. It wasn't necessarily workouts going into April and May. It was what you have at the end of May going into the summertime. And I said it that day that this team was going to be built in the summer, and we're about a few weeks away now from getting a chance to do that now.
And you're already touching upon a couple of my questions down the road here. When it comes to your assistant coaching hires, you already hired 3. Ben Lee, who was a Union grad and then went to University of Washington to help as an assistant coach. Ryan Blackwell, Liverpool High School legend, Syracuse alum, as well as Arenze Anawaku, who played with you in Syracuse. Now, some in the national landscape may say, these guys, they may not have the experience that's there, but when it comes to you, why do those 3 assistant coaches fit your mold into what you're trying to build here?
Well, let's start, you start with a guy like Ben, who's, last year I think was the youngest Power 5 assistant coach in men's basketball. I love his high school background, where he's coming from, his playing background obviously at Union, but his high school background and how he got started in the industry and the business. And, as you're out on the road and you're recruiting, you understand as you go around, you see the people, your peers with other programs, you start to realize who's who and, who's doing it the right way, who's a worker, who's in it for the right reasons. I've gotten a chance to know Ben over the last year and a half, and I thought he was a no-brainer in terms of bringing a guy on that knows this area. He loves the recruiting aspect of it. He's good on the court. He's got the high energy. And he's been just kind of my right-hand man in this whole process. And, certainly when it goes down to as far as, being here every day, he's been here from the start. And, Ryan Blackwell, regardless of level, I have such a great respect for head coaches. And Ryan's done a great job at the high school level. He's played, all over the world in terms of professionally, and coached all over the world professionally, coached in China. So I have just such a great long history with Ryan in terms of relationship. And Arenze, who I played with, you look at his 10-year pro, legit big guy, and he goes and brings 2 years of G League experience as a coach and a year with Gonzaga High School, one of the premier high school programs in the country. So I felt like if I was going to put a staff together, I wanted guys that are going to work, guys that are going to be on the good on the court, and guys like Ryan and Arenze, who might not have a lot of recruiting experience. They have 2 guys that know the recruiting game, and they're going to try to put them in place. But to be able to be a good recruiter as a head coach, I got to understand who I'm dealing with as people, and you've got to be a good person. You got to handle, relationships and people the right way, and I feel like I've kind of knocked it out of the park in terms of the quality of person that I've hired.
For sure, and like you just mentioned, you guys are already hard at work building this roster. Recruits in and out, transfers coming in, commits being made in this past month, and you just mentioned the summer months. If we want to dive into that a little bit more, we're a month in, we're looking ahead now. What's the process in the next couple of months? And when it comes to looking at players, what is the vision of a player that you would like to have come help bring this team back to the top?
I think everyone's going to see in the next probably week of pretty much our full roster. So we're in very good position. You'll see the quality of player and talent that I brought in, but you've got to match certain characteristics. Above all else, you have to have winning characteristics. That's about the little things. You got to be talented at this level. Most guys that play here already are. There's certain separators in my mind, and one of the greatest things I've ever heard from a head coach is I had to realize the group of guys that I was willing to lose with, and that's something that always stuck with me, because you've got to put a product on the court that regardless of outcome you're going to be proud of. And is that team going to continue to do the little things, whether it's battling for loose balls, staying disciplined defensively, understanding every scouting report. We feel like we've put together the right personalities, the right talent, and those right attributes moving forward. Now, as you go into these summer months, that's when all the implementation begins of your defensive schemes, your offensive sets, which I'll probably tailor more toward the end of the summer, because defensively, conceptually, I need to have those guys locked in those first 4 weeks of the summertime. And the good thing for me is I just gone through it last year at Syracuse with the transition from Coach Boeheim to Coach Autry. So having a year like that under my belt, in terms of, I've just done this in the last 12 months in terms of flipping a program and putting in new concepts and what you're looking for. So I've got experience there, and it's new experience. So I'm just really looking forward to getting our full group here.
For sure, when we talk about experience, we're doing all this off the field or off the court work, but then once we get to the winter months, it's time to coach and play some basketball. Past 15 years, everybody knows you were on the bench for Syracuse men's basketball, and most of the time under Hall of Fame head coach Jim Boeheim. This is your first head coaching gig. Why do you believe that experience at Syracuse has you prepared for what's next here at Siena?
Think about how many lessons you learn under a guy like Coach Boeheim, where not just 15 years as an assistant, but 4 years as a player. Competing in a national championship game as a player, but then being back 2 years, 2 different times as a coach to a Final Four. I just felt like over the years, one of the greatest gifts that Coach Boeheim allows his assistants is they become their own coach. He allows them within their group, primarily guard work with me, to develop their own voice because of how much responsibility he gives you with your players in the development process. I just felt like through that process I was so lucky to be able to grow, evolve. I've had 4 children in that process, so my communication has changed. I understand guys. I got 4 kids. I might be able to yell at my oldest, and my third one I can't yell at as much. So you understand that in terms of how you communicate with different players. And when you do this long enough, it's just like being a player. You put in the time and the commitment, and you get more confident on the court. It's no different as a coach. You put in the time, you put in the commitment, and you get more confident as a coach. And over the years, you obviously take so many different things from a guy like Coach Boeheim, so many things from all the assistant coaches that I've worked with that have been great colleagues and friends. And, you pull and draw from all the great people around you. And I'm just really, really blessed that I've been around great people to help me mature and develop in terms of my evolution as a coach. And, the last few years I've known I've been ready, and I couldn't script a better place for me to get my opportunity.
Well, the Saints faithful here are very excited for what's to come in the coming months, and then as the season tips off, and I got to ask you, because they want to know, when it comes to you running this team and this program, what is your vision for this season and the near future for how you want to attack things?
Yeah, I want to win. I want to win right away. That was the goal as soon as I got this job. I think we're in a unique situation in college basketball in terms of transfer portal and fifth-year guys and NIL. When you have a complete, for the most part, a complete roster reconstruction like we had, you have the opportunity to take advantage of that system and get in guys that you envisioned playing with, and adding to the pieces that you kept. And I want to win. I want to win right away. That's why I recruited the players I did. That's why I came here, because it's a job that you can go and get players of the quality that we got, because it has a rich tradition and great fan support, a great arena, a great practice facility. So, that's the goal. That's all. That's the end of every game I played. At the end of every game I coached, the only thing that mattered was the result to me. That's how I judged performance, and that's how my team's going to be. Whether we win or lose, we're going to judge how we play, and I want a product that's on the court that I told every recruit that came through my office that when we had our final sit-down, I want to close my computer after watching it for the second time. I watched the games twice. After the second time, I'm going to close the computer after every game and say, I really like this team. They give me everything they got.
Your message to the fans for this upcoming season?
Come support us. We're going to do everything we can to put a product on the court that you're going to be proud of. That's important. The one thing that I learned coming from where I come from in terms of the program is the fans are everything. And they're the ones that determine and dictate how high a ceiling your program has. And you keep showing up, and we're going to put the product on the court that you're going to be proud of. I can guarantee it.
I got one last question for you, more so for New York State basketball fans. Coming from Syracuse, now here at Siena, any possibility we see down the road a Syracuse-Siena home-and-home matchup?
We'll see. I got to talk to my former boss. Maybe former boss is. It would be incredibly neat. I'll tell you, it'd be really uncomfortable for me. Not just because it'd be Syracuse, but Coach Autry's my guy. Obviously you're going to run into that type of thing in this business. We're friends with a lot of different people, and you're going to come. There's guys on the other side of the sidelines this year that I'm very good friends with that we've already got scheduled. So that one would be a little bit different, but let me get this thing rolling a little bit, and I'll try to make that happen.
Sounds like a plan. Well, Coach, thank you very much for your time. I know everybody here in the Capital Region very excited. I, for one, looking forward to covering you guys this upcoming season. So we wish you all the best, and
we appreciate
looking forward to the season.
Thank you.